queer people. Yes, that's right. There are only two kinds of people who would click on a video like this. That being insanely gay people and English majors, aka gay people 2.0. Explaining Edgar Allan Poe to you would be like explaining water to a fish. Like, come on, the only reason you would click is if you knew who this fucker was. And if you don't, well, welcome, I guess. I honestly don't expect this video to do well, I really just want to make it. Now, is this just an excuse to find a use for my very steep purchase of this? Well, obviously, but also I kind of made a whole script around October of last year that was meant to be a Halloween special and I never made it. I never finished it, and like, I really like Poe's work, so I'm giving it another try. Fuck you, if you don't like this, fuck you. I have passions, fuck you. Now, I know what I said, but sometimes the fish have no clue what they're swimming in. So, Edgar Allan Poe was a fictive writer in the mid-18th century, and he made some of my favorite gothic-written works probably ever. From The Telltale Heart, a story about an untrustworthy narrator trying to convince you he's not crazy while describing how he killed his neighbor because he had a freaky eye, and then ended up confessing to his crimes because he was sure the police could hear the man's heart beating underneath the floorboards. To The Raven, a poem about a man driven crazy by his grief for his lost Lenore. Nevermore. I literally had to, I'm sorry. Those are just two of his more famous works. I mean, The Simpsons literally made a Treehouse of Horrors episode based on The Telltale Heart, and the raven has been referenced in way too much media to count. Like, if a raven is used as a symbol of loss in mass media, it's most likely an ode to Poe's The Raven, because, let's be honest, the big shots in Hollywood don't give a shit about Greek, Celtic, Norse, Pacific Northwest, or Roman mythology. Let's just be real. There have also been numerous adaptations of Poe's work, some better than others, but still, and all that to say, Poe's work has had an irreversible effect on mass media and society as a whole. His work sure had an irreversible effect on me. I have the first two sentences of The Raven and the end of The Telltale Heart memorized. I can pull that shit out on command. I really wish I was kidding. Poe is in epic rap battles of history. If that is an achievement, I don't know what is. As I was saying, I love Edgar Allan Poe's work. I mean, even bringing up the book I mentioned earlier, there's a free site with a lot of his work on it, which I would really recommend the site. Everything that's on there is peak, and yet, I bought the damn book. And as I said, it really wasn't cheap, but I'm glad I did. I now have some of my genuine favorite stories of all time right on my bookshelf. And this is a perfect time to bring up that I make these videos as a hobby, and if you like to support me in any way, even if it's just $5, I have a Ko-fi. Ko-fi.com/Amefaust. And if you can't, simply liking and subscribing also helps get these videos pushed out to more people. Thank you, and on with the video. Now, some of my favorite of Poe's work include The Raven, fucking duh, El Dorado, which is a poem based around the myth of El Dorado. No, there was a movie made about that. But the poem is basically about a person trekking through the desert in search of the city of gold until he starts hallucinating shadows talking to him that encourage him forward? I don't know, I kind of read it as like, if you keep searching, you'll eventually find what you're looking for. Don't flack me for this, English majors. I beg you. Lenore is a poem about celebrating someone's life rather than mourning their death. There's not much else I can say about it, I just really like the message. Also, I didn't bring this up earlier when talking about the effect Poe's had on mass media. There's a webcomic by the name Nevermore, which is more or less about a girl named Lenore and a girl named Annabelle Lee, who both died and are now in the afterlife. Fucking Christ. I didn't write this well. God, I suck at scripting. Who both died, went to the afterlife, and now attend the Nevermore Academy, and I haven't read that much of the comic yet, but they are very much lesbians, I would recommend. The Black Cat, which is a story about animal abuse, and a guy murdering his wife. This makes me look bad, huh? Poe really liked to write about the human condition and just really fucking bad people, and to be fair, Poe himself wasn't that good of a person when he was alive. But I am not going to unpack any of that, because frankly, all I care about is that he is the father of the mystery novel. Mans is the mystery guy. Like, he pioneered the whole genre. The Murders in the Rue Morgue is the first ever detective fiction story he wrote, and it's kind of obvious. Like, the first 4 or so pages is him describing what deduction is and how it works, and I'ma be honest, I understood none of what he was saying. Like, King, you didn't have to yap that hard. Don't mind how the entirety of this video is me yapping, but still, I can't flack the man too hard, because if he never wrote this, I probably wouldn't have anything to compare it to. He pioneered the genre so hard it became a thing. I mean, even Arthur Conan Doyle credited his works to Poe. But anyway, the story is a locked room murder, which is pretty generic today, but as I said, the man created the whole genre, so I gotta give him some respect. Overall, the story is really good. It's written really well. It does a great job at what it's trying to do. It's a good detective story. Okay, look, if you came here for a literary review or something, obviously you didn't get that, because I still don't know how to write and format those yet, but I will probably be learning how for the next time I talk about literature, which, if I'm not lazy and stupid, will be in October. Okay, look, I don't have a segue into this. I just have zero idea if I'll ever get a chance to talk about this again. So, one of the people Poe inspired was Japanese writer Taro Hirai, who wrote under the pseudonym Edgar Allan Poe, which has two meanings I know of. The first one being Edgar itself means Edo River, and the second being that Edgar Allan Poe pronounced sounds like Edgar Allan Poe. Yeah, Poe was a huge fucking inspiration for the man, so much so that Taro wrote a heap of short stories and published them under Japanese Tales of Mystery and Imagination, which is an ode to a publication of Poe's work under the similar name Tales of Mystery and Imagination. Taro really looked up to Poe a lot, like a lot. The first story in the publication is The Human Chair, which genuinely disturbed me on first read. Human Chair is about a carpenter making a chair for someone and deciding, oh, I don't want to say goodbye to this chair yet. I'm gonna make a compartment in it that I can fit in, and then I'm going to stay in there when the chair gets taken to the place so I can be there. And like originally, he was going to just steal stuff because poor ass. And like he would never get caught because like, who's gonna check the fucking chair? This quote-unquote fantasy of being a chair became perverted, to which I won't talk about. Yeah, that's fucking right. Read the book. And thus, I have fully gone off topic, so I think it's time to end. Also, I just want to say the line Poe's poems, Posers is genuine peak.